a statewide protocol when someone gets arrested for a violent crime, like a homicide, shooting, something that's very serious and very aggressive? Are there protocols in place where they have a mandatory toxicology test? And is there data available to us legislators to look at to see if there's a pattern? Because the question here, to kind of clarify a little bit, is, you know, in your testimony, if grandma's sitting on the porch eating Cheetos, she's not very violent. And that has been kind of the general perception, I would say, amongst people, is that pot does not make you aggressive. What I'd like to know is there a combination of drugs that make people aggressive? Is it just alcohol? Or is it a combination of other things? And I'll give you a little more background here. I reached out to the Federal Bureau of Investigation 3 years ago to ask them this very question after one of the horrific mass shootings that we had. And what I wanted to know was, do you test these people for a full range of drugs? And is there some underlying combination of drugs that puts people off the edge like this? So if it's not the law in Pennsylvania, I'm going to look into making it so.
It is not that I'm aware of. We do not test in Warren County. The issue is going to be one of, in DUI cases, it's an element of the crime that they have to have certain intoxicants in their system, and they have to be measured with regards to alcohol, certain percentages. With weed, it's just weed, but I'd like to have that different, knowing how much Delta-9 is in their system. That being said, it's an element of the crime. With regards to violent crime, there's no element that says that if they're high on meth, it is a mitigating or aggravating factor one way or another. So it could be a constitutional issue with regards to a search. You'd have to get a warrant, because right now you have to get a warrant for a blood draw. If someone refuses a blood draw, DUI, they can refuse, and you must get a search warrant to get that blood. You would need a search warrant. Same thing with a violent crime. And what would the search warrant be? What's the reason for it? The reason is, well, it doesn't satisfy any elements. It would have to be statutorily enacted in Pennsylvania to say this is the reason why the search warrant.
I mean, that's what we do, is make laws. So that's why we got elected.
I'm talking to the right peeps.
I am certainly willing to work with you within that space. And from what I understand, from what you've said to me, you know, typically when you and District Attorney Sunday do a toxicology report, it is to help in the prosecution. And for me, I'd like the toxicology report to help guide legislation. So thank you for your testimony.
There's an expense in that too. I mean, just so the lab tests aren't cheap, sending them to NMS or it's whoever. So,
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And I will also offer that, you know, after sitting in easily over 1,000 pre-arrest meetings, I've never once heard the words, use caution, he's a known marijuana user. Senator Ward.
Thank you, Chairman.